is your girl Liz here, back with another video. So today's video I have been wanting to make for a very long time now. There was also a local British restaurant that I always wanted to visit, you know, my people, you know. So today we're going to spill some tea and talk a little bit about the British family. So I went to this British restaurant, British pub, and it was really cool. Oh my god, I've been slinging this. Oh my god, this is horrible. I f***ed it up. They definitely did not give it to me like this, but I've been swinging this thing around as I've been trying to find a place to film. So today we're going to be eating the most stereotypical thing that you possibly could get from a British restaurant, and that is bangers and mash. I got 3 bangers. We got some baked beans. We got some Guinness gravy. I got this lilt drink, which they say is British. And I got this drink, which I hear is an Irish drink, but I got it because it looks like this drink I had in Germany, and I'm wondering if it might taste the same. The pub, it was interesting because there was actually a lot of British people in there, which I was surprised to see. And there was a French guy next to me who said he really liked it, and it definitely reminded him of a real British pub. So let's try it. Mashed potatoes are okay. Now for the sausage. The sausage is pretty good. It tastes like a breakfast sausage though. Not necessarily a bad thing, but all right, let's try some of these baked beans. It's alright, it's fine. They have fish and chips there too, but we'll save that for the next one. My interest in the royal family only really picked up after Meghan joined the family, but lilt. I don't know why I keep reading that as lit. Lilt, not bad. Meghan Markle and Harry have been trending so much, especially on Twitter, and you know, the opinions on them are very, very volatile. Super support or super hate. I honestly haven't done much research on them beyond the Oprah interview, which I talked about before in a live stream. Oh, their series, Harry and Meghan, which I really enjoyed. All right, I'll be honest, before this documentary came out, I was starting to feel like the British press was right, because it was like, okay, you guys want privacy, you want to be left alone, but why do you keep speaking out? You know, what you quickly see is much the same way with Michael Jackson, is that even if you mind your business, even if you hide, even if you stay away, if they want to get you, they'll get at you. Honestly, I was starting to feel like I was annoyed by them before, but then once I had watched it, I was like, it made a lot of sense. And this mainly being because y'all know I'm a super Michael Jackson stan, and knowing what Michael Jackson went through and having a ton of empathy for it and hatred of the media for life because of it, they pretty much did the same thing to Meghan over there. Something really funny is I love how the American media likes to portray like the British media is so evil and they're like, we're innocent, whatever. No, you all are just as nasty and capable of doing the same exact stuff, and you have plenty of celebrities who are now deceased because of it. So I basically came to this theory and conclusion from watching this stuff. I truly believe on some way that Meghan outsmarted the British monarchy. And I do think that she's actually has rescued Harry instead of the knight in shining armor rescuing the princess. The American actress has rescued the prince, and I truly believe that, and I'll explain to you why. We smoking on that royal family pack tonight. We smoking on that royal family pack tonight. It's funny because I have a bunch of randomly written notes down on my phone, one of which includes, I feel like Harry probably takes all his bitches to Botswana. No, because in the documentary, they made it like that was the big trip when they realized that they wanted to be together and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, this motherfucker probably takes all his hoes there. Shows them all the animals, romantic at nighttime. Shit, Harry ain't slick. Okay, so let's talk about the paparazzi first. I definitely remember reading that Compton article about Meghan. Like Harry said in the documentary, like, if you can't see the racial undertones to this, then I can't help you. I mean, not that it's horrible for being from Compton, but they're clearly trying to make it out to seem like she's like she's some hood chick. And you know what? It's possible that she did live in the hood and grow up in the hood. So did I. Being a hood chick means that you was in the streets. I grew up in the hood. I'm definitely not a hood chick. When Meghan came out and had her Oprah interview and started talking about how she got to a point where she didn't want to be alive, and these people were like, oh, well, just do it then. Oh, you're a liar. Oh, it's not true. I mean, like, how many celebrities need to die from all this fame and media attention? Like, how is that not hard to believe? Like, that seems extremely easy to believe, actually. And then she wanted to get therapy, and they wouldn't let her get therapy, which on their part is kind of understandable because the fear of secrecy or fear of something getting out or something like that, which clearly, like, even her own father betrayed her. But I mean, damn, shouldn't they should have like the royal therapist or something like that. But even with them though, you think about it, like Michael Jackson, the rabbi that he used to always go and see, the rabbi ended up recording him, I'm pretty sure secretly, and then publishing it in a book after he died. So I guess someone like Meghan, there really isn't anyone she really could trust except for like her mom maybe. As for what I feel Meghan did wrong, it gets me really irritated that when Meghan talks about how she didn't know anything about the family, she didn't do any research, I just don't believe that. Like, she's an extremely resourceful, intelligent woman. Maybe she didn't do a ton of research on him specifically, like finding out every little tiny peek of thing that she could find about him, but you're not gonna tell me she didn't look up anything. And this goes into the whole her thing about her talking about the first time she felt like a black woman or whatever, because, which I think is a legitimate thing to bring up because of like light skin privilege and texturism and all that stuff. I would never, when I looked at Meghan, I would never believe that she was half black. Like, she looks like she's like 20%. Like, she really doesn't, I'm 50%. So she looks a lot more like European than I do. But yeah, I just don't understand why she's, acts like she's so surprised. I'm like, this is the British monarchy. You was in school. You was in American history and European history. We know their history. We know this very well. We were taught it over and over and over again since at least third grade. So why are you acting surprised that this family is full of racists? Want to say started, if not started, but they 100% perpetuated, elongated, propagated, demonstrated the Atlantic slave trade. How could you not know this? The Queen's jewels, the pillaging, the crown jewels are literally stolen. Like, I know that they told you about these things at least a little bit. I don't know. I don't like that she's doing all that pretending and like, yeah, I googled how to curtsy. Okay, like I googled why do dogs' farts smell so bad. Like I don't know why that was supposed to seem like that was some kind of like super special thing. Or maybe she just feels like she can't admit to anything, because if she admits to something, then people are like, see, she's like a horrible person, which, it's a shame that it's like that. Into some of the stuff that they said in the documentary. So I don't think it's wrong of Harry to like actually have that legitimate fear that what happened to his mom could happen to Meghan. If not getting in a car accident, running from the paparazzi, how about putting a whole bottle of pills into your mouth? People may be asking like, oh, Harry, he's so privileged, like, why is he doing this? You know what, Harry reminds me of a lot of us who go to therapy in our mid-20s, right? I'm 32. I think Harry's like 35 or whatever. He has that post-therapy anger. Like, when you go to therapy after going through a whole bunch of shit in your life, this, that, disappointment after disappointment, trauma, this, that, like all kinds of up stuff, eventually you're like, okay, something happens and decide to end up going to therapy. And you go to therapy and you're like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. And then it starts coming. It just comes out and comes out and comes out. There's like different periods of therapy. Like, it's like your venting period. Like, you might be like resisting period, then your venting period, and then understanding, and then whatever. So some people can be like an arc, but for someone like me, therapy is like this. He definitely gives off the vibe of like anger. This is the point in therapy and healing when you have talked about all the shit that your fucked up parents and family did. I'm just getting mad talking about it. You talk about every fucked up thing they ever did, every fucked up thing they ever said, all those little side comments, all those little things that they was like a little joke, but end up staying in your head for years and years, and like literally changes how you view yourself, how you operate and stuff like that. You know, like Harry talking about all these little stories that he's coming up with about how his dad would joke that he was not his son. And it's like, haha, that's funny. But like when you're a kid, it's like people don't understand that kids don't understand, like, let's say humor, different levels of humor, right? And like maybe even on some level, like when he was making the joke, he was just like, he's secretly feeling like, I wish you weren't my son, or something like that. And there's subtext, man. So he has that rage, that post-therapy rage. He's just fucking going scorched earth. When I was in therapy, you know, I definitely got into a couple arguments with my parents. I was like, oh, really? Like that time when you did like barking on them hard as fuck, trying to get an apology that I would never truly get, you know what I mean? That's where he's at. And he's, you know, looking for probably attention and apologies from his family. It's just not gonna happen. It's probably not gonna happen, you know? Barbados culture obviously takes tons of African influences, but Barbados is called Little Britain, Little England for a reason, because Britishness is very strong in Bajan culture. Stoicism, repression, and all that motherfucker ain't getting no apology, okay? I'm eating and talking. Now, typically, if I was at a restaurant and had someone in front of me, I would like cover my mouth. I will wait. Is that weird? You guys gotta tell me and be honest with me. Should I chew a little bit? Like me just doing that. Is it wrong to talk like that? With food in my mouth like that? I'm trying to talk to y'all like I would be talking to my friend who I don't give a fuck if they see there's food in my mouth. That's how I want this to feel. You know what I'm saying? Get into how I really feel about monarchy, whatever. Another thing they kept talking about in this documentary was this idea of an unspoken agreement between the British royal family and the press. If you keep giving us info and information, we'll keep posting about you and having the public like you. If you really think about it, when you take your personal feelings out about it, that's not wrong. It sounds like an even exchange. Come on. Let's talk about the elephant in the room here. We know that the British royal family is 100% totally bullshit. There's no God on earth or on any other planet that said those people deserve the right to rule the world, to rule all of us. They have a God-given destiny, a divine right to rule. Man, if you don't get the out with his face, y'all don't deserve to rule over nobody, and we all know it. I don't know why the British people are still letting them sit up there. You know, I have my conspiracies theory that we'll get into after that, but they basically have all the stolen jewels of the world. You know, so much stuff that they're worth trillions of dollars from slavery, rape, and pillaging the world. White supremacy, the war, all this power, all this wealth, and all this stuff. The press is like, hey, we're okay with you guys doing this so long as we get some of the cheddar. I'm not saying it's extortion. It does seem like, wouldn't it be a shame if this whole palace caught on fire? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely given wise guy, mafia gangster, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it would be a real shame if people started to believe that they're much better without a monarchy. Wouldn't you say that? I mean, it would be a shame if people would start to question and wonder what's really the point, you know? If people started to feel like, well, why them and not us? There's a lot of people out there that are hungry and want food and don't have clothes and can't pay their rent. Meanwhile, you're up here with the largest diamond in the world sewn to your hat. So that's what I think it is. I think the paparazzi and the media is basically like, all right, we won't tell anyone that this is bullshit if you guys keep playing along, because they're going to make money off of it by clicks and magazines and all this kind of stuff. So I feel like it's very obvious. This is not remarkable what I'm saying. I feel like it's very obvious that that's what's going on. And they briefly talk about that in the documentary, about who gives them the right. So I watched The Crown up to season 3, and the beginning of The Crown starts around 1940 and stuff. And like the Queen Mother, which is Queen Elizabeth's mother, even said in the documentary that the monarchy is changing. Like people are starting to basically wake up and see that's fucking bullshit. Like they're so lucky that like the Nazis did not get over to England to get up in that palace. Like I feel like it really would have been over then. And so I 100% believe that if they didn't agree to the pictures and all this stuff, that you all of a sudden you would start saying op-eds and opinion pieces. Do we really need royals? How do we divide the money? How would dividing up what the British royal family has, how would it benefit the British people? With them motherfuckers, no one in England should starve. No one in England should be hungry. No one in England should not be able to afford rent. After what y'all not doing it right then. That country's worth trillions of dollars. And so that will get into my conspiracy theory, but this is why I feel like Meghan is actually saving Harry, because I do believe she loves him. I do believe they fell in love with each other, and it's not hard to see. Meghan is fucking drop dead gorgeous. She's intelligent. She's creative, talented. She's driven. And Harry, he's also a strong, masculine man. Like Harry to me is like, he's hot. Okay, I don't feel like their relationship is uneven at all. It's 2023, y'all. The Queen Elizabeth just died. The end of a fucking huge era. She just died. And I really think Meghan was like, Harry, this whole thing is about to crumble. I'm calling it here. I believe that the monarchy will crumble. Especially Gen Z too now. Oh, Lord, you gonna have a problem with them. They don't fucking stand for nothing. People like to talk about millennials, but we did a lot. But these guys, bro, they don't even want to work at all. And they won't. I don't want to work either, so that wasn't a shaming tactic at all. They're not standing for anything. Don't let them start making jokes about y'all they have no interest. They probably look at it as like, oh, that's an old people's thing. But when they get a little bit older, I feel I definitely would worry about the Gen Z British, because they're going to be looking like, wait, what? I think Meghan is like, Harry, this thing is about to blow, okay? Don't be surprised if people riot and demand that, this whole thing is dissolved, and that the money and the gold and the jewels and all that stuff needs to be doled out to, because that's going to happen. Him and her now need to build their own thing. That's why they got the production company and they got the podcast and they're doing this and that, because they're trying to make a big fucking stash when this shit all blows. Whatever his section is, I think he's got what they said, $32 million, which is like, y'all crazy that y'all really think that y'all got all that money. That's wild. If they decide to like, nope, we're taking that. Bank of England, nope, that's ours. I feel like that she is Captain Save-A-Ho. She's Captain Save-A-Prince. She sees this the way anyone who got sight and ears can see this train coming. My father was an older father. Like, he had me at 40. My dad was like just on the cusp of like the old world and the new world. A lot of disagreements we would have would because of those old school bitch, and that very old like stoicism, prim and proper, like following the rules, like this is how it always was. We just keep doing the same shit. He was on the cusp of that era. And so with Queen Elizabeth dying, it's like an era gone. Either way, that whole old vibe, like it's always been like this, so that shit is dead. It's only a matter of time. I feel like she saved Harry and she outsmarted him because she got her a man. She got her a man that already had money and clout, like historical antiquity clout, okay? She got a man that got medieval clout, okay? She threw him on the back of her damn freaking American stallion, And she took his ass to LA. I do kind of worry about him though, because I'm like, he's British. Like, he's lived in England his whole life, and now he's just like, of course there's British people who move to LA. There's tons of British people here in Florida. So it's not that I don't believe it's possible, but I wonder if he's gonna miss that. He's not just like your average Brit. He's like British as AF. Oh, another thing I didn't like though, I didn't like how he said like his family missed an opportunity to use Meghan to get closer to people, get closer to minorities, get closer to young people. First of all, they're from that old ass world that I'm talking about. But I'm just like, haven't they used us enough? I mean, I get what he's saying, but why she gotta be the one? They could literally go through a fucking class, a college level class about cultures in the world, and they don't do that shit. I remember in The Crown, Queen Elizabeth was making decisions and she didn't know fuck all about anything. And she was like, I think I should do like study or something. Like, shouldn't I know about like other countries and stuff? Like, I think her mom was like, oh, don't worry about that. That's just, you don't need to worry about that. What? So that's how I feel Meghan basically saved Harry's red ass. That being said, it leads me into my conspiracy theory. After the war, that's when like the royal family started to like be televised and shit. Like they showed her wedding, Queen Elizabeth's wedding. You know, she started doing like the Christmas message on TV. She started to be more involved in the public. And so my conspiracy theory is I believe that the British government is using the royal family as a face of a business. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. I am not saying this as fact. I'm not saying this is alleged. I'm saying this is my opinion, which means it's not based in any fact. It's just an opinion. The royal family and Buckingham Palace and all that is a racket. I'm gonna define a racket for you guys, just so for people who don't understand what a racket is and what racketeering is. Okay, a racket is a type of organized crime in which the perpetrator set up a coercive, fraudulent, extortionary, or otherwise illegal coordinated scheme or operation, the racket, to repeatedly or consistently collect a profit. Okay? My example earlier about, hey, wouldn't it be a shame if this palace here caught on fire? Wouldn't it be a shame if people start questioning whether the monarchy was real or not? Basically, you know how in the gangster movies they'll go to a laundromat and be like, listen, this is a real dangerous neighborhood out here. You guys need some protection. Okay, so listen, give us $5,000 a week and we'll protect your business from being robbed or gone up in flames, pretty much. And then when they're like, nothing's ever happened here, we don't want to do that. Next thing you know, your laundromat's on damn well fire, okay? Because you didn't pay into the racket. I believe, opinion, that the royal family and the palace is a racket of some kind. Of what? I don't know. Definitely probably making money off of 100% the tourism from it and all that stuff. I also believe they use it to launder money somehow, clean money somehow. And I wouldn't be surprised if under the palace or there's some kind of vault that is holding like gold that they have raped and pillaged throughout the world for, you know, all these centuries. They have to do what they do with the media because it's all a part of the racket and the money laundering scheme. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these entities were working for the government or something like that. Something about it is just, it's sketch, okay? You know, they talked about the crown jewels, and when I went looking them up, and people were talking about how they need to return them now that Queen Elizabeth is dead, you know, and they reportedly said that the jewels were gifts. So you're going to tell me when you're ruling over, enslaving, colonizing, you know, Indian stuff, and they give you guys a jewel as a gift? Like, you cannot give a freaking gift under duress like that. That's like, you know, when they talk about slaves having relationships, the master as being consensual. You cannot have a consensual relationship while under slavery. Like, it's just not possible. There's no way that these countries gave their colonial master's gifts. So yeah, that basically sums up everything I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. You know, whatever. It's just like fun to think about, you know. I did start watching The Crown. I'm not like obsessed with it. Honest to God, most of it is boring. Most of it is so fucking boring. But there are parts that are like really good. Like I really enjoyed Princess Margaret's story because she's kind of ratchet, and I'm like, love that for her. So that was always entertaining to watch. But yeah, it's just interesting. Looking forward to see what's going on with Harry and Meghan next, like what projects they're going to start working on. Yeah, that's my conspiracy theory. Like, tell me what you guys think about that. Like, that sounds like legit, right? Like, I was actually proud of myself for that one. Like, definitely, my opinion, the British pound, it's the lead for a fucking reason, all right? If anything that you get from this video, yeah. Wow, crazy. Yeah, honestly, Meghan, she better... Well, you know, it would be too obvious if they tried to murk her at this point. It'd be like, no, we know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section about what I've said. Let me know if you guys would try bangers and mash. I would eat it again, but of course I would want it when I was there. And I probably would ask them to do the sausage really well done. Anyway, thanks so much, guys. Peace out.